guys, it's Sadie, and today I'm going to be telling the story time while I get ready about why I went to the hospital a couple of weeks ago. I am ready to share exactly what happened because it was kind of a traumatic event, so I didn't want to just like jump into sharing everything right when it happened. Now I'm actually in the right headspace to talk about what happened. I feel like this is something that I really should tell you, especially if you are diabetic or have some type of thing that you have to take care of every single day. Yeah, this is the story time of how I got admitted to the hospital and almost died. This is not even like clickbait. Like, I could easily have died in this scenario, and that's why this is so important for me to post a video about. But I'm going to also be getting ready. Don't know exactly why I'm getting, like, I do know why I'm getting ready, but I'm going to the gym, but then after that I have class, so I was like, I might as well just like get ready before class. Where do I even start? This is insane. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. This whole thing happened in the night, but it's important to know what happened during the day that led to what happened at night. I had a very busy day, like one of the busiest days I probably ever had in my university experience so far. I just had so many things to film. This is getting ready for midterms. I also had a philosophy paper that I had to do and a pop culture paper, and I was really stressed. So yeah, this stress is where all of the problems are stemming from, and also my wacky priorities list, which this was a whole wake-up call for me, but we'll get to that later. This day I was productive. I was getting all my stuff done. I basically forgot to eat. This is such a no-no, not even when it comes to just diabetics. By the way, I'm type 1 diabetic, if you don't know. Yeah, so I have had type 1 diabetes since I was 3. I have been taking actually really good care of it. Like, I feel like I'm a very well-controlled diabetic. I didn't have an insulin pump. I was on insulin injections. Whenever I would take insulin, I would have to take out a needle and do it like that. Long-acting insulin is basically the insulin that you get throughout the whole day. You literally are getting little doses of insulin throughout the whole day. We get long-acting insulin through our pump, or for me, I was using injections, so I would take 1 dose in the morning and then 1 dose before I would go to bed. And then also every time you eat, or if you're taking a correction to lower your blood sugar, you would also take a fast-acting insulin with syringes, and if you're not on syringes, you would enter it in your pump and it would just go through the little needle that is always inside of you. So that's a little rundown of all of the technical aspects. As I was saying, this day I was very stressed and I didn't eat a lot, and since I already took that dose of long-acting insulin in the morning, you can't just like take it out. Like, you can't stop the dose from happening, but if I was on the pump, I would have been able to either stop or suspend my insulin, or I could have done a temporary basal where I would do it minus 30%. I could have just adjusted my doses so much more. Like, you have so much more control over that with the pump, but because I was on injections, I did not have that control. And also, I didn't get groceries for that full week, so I genuinely only had berries in my fridge. Like, that was the only thing that I had. And I also have been trying to eat healthy and not eat a lot of fat so that my insulin resistance will be okay. So I've been trying not to eat unhealthy, not to eat out too many times. So I really just did not want to order food or get Uber Eats or anything that was like just more processed and fatty than normal food that you would make at home. So I just refused to do that. So I literally just didn't eat. Maybe I had bread and berries, I think, before I went out, which is just so not sustainable because there's no protein in that too. Right now I'm like, Sadie, you're prioritizing your work over your health. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, like, this just enrages me because now I know the consequences of that, but I had never had a diabetes scare in my life before this happened. Before this situation, diabetes was kind of just like something that I did, like something that I took care of, and my parents were always so helpful and just guiding me and always making sure that I was doing the right thing with my diabetes and always taking care of it since a very young age. So I never kind of thought of it as this like huge dangerous thing that you could literally die from if you don't take care of it, because like I never had a scare like that until now. And I did decide to go out this night. First, I went to a frat party, which I actually hated this party so much. It was not good. It was literally just a sweaty room with music playing. Girls had to pay $5, boys had to pay $10. The people there were just not fun, so I honestly don't care how cool or big a party is. It's just the people that are there that I kind of care about, because a party can be so cool. People can spend so much money like organizing a party, having a DJ and blah blah blah. But like, if the people there are not fun, or if they're just like judgmental and not social and standoffish, then it's just not fun. I wanted to leave immediately, so I did. My friends were still there. They wanted to stay, and I was like, that's fine, guys. Like, I'm literally just gonna go home. The party was literally across the street from my house, so I literally just walked home. Then I literally was just in my bed scrolling on TikTok. I was having a really nice night, actually. Like, I was having a really chill night. Also, I'm gonna link all the makeup products I'm using down below. This one I evidently love. Then I get a text from my friend Aaliyah, who was at the frat party that I was at, and I guess she kind of felt bad that I left and that I wasn't having fun. So then she invited me me to this restaurant slash bar. It's called Kentucky. It's in Waterloo. She texted me and she was like, yeah, we're going to Kentucky. You should come. And I was like, of course, I'm gonna come. I went to Kentucky with them and it was actually a really fun time. We kind of just like sat at the table and talked. Then they were all super nice and they basically all walked me back to my apartment. Like because I was kind of far from Kentucky. The girl that I met came up to my apartment because she was waiting to go meet with a boy or something, but she didn't want to go too early because he wasn't responding or something like that. Like she was waiting to go to him. So I was like, you can literally just like come up to my apartment and wait with me. We can like chill and stuff. And she was like, okay, yeah. I think like an hour goes by and we're like watching a movie and we put that on my TV and we're on my couch out there. Then she decides to leave because her friend that she was meeting up with, or whoever she was meeting up with, I literally cannot remember. That is so not the point of the story either. I always get like sidetracked on the little details. This is where my memory stops. I don't remember anything of that night from this point on. I do remember at one point in the night, my blood sugar saying 4.1 going down. And I do remember eating like glucose. At the frat party, I was dancing for a little bit. So I was active and I walked home and we walked to Kentucky and back from Kentucky. So I was active the whole night. And keep in mind, I had not eaten proper meals that day. And I had already taken my long-acting basil for the morning. I did take basil for the nighttime. I did reduce the dose a little bit, but not as much as I should have. And I should have thought about the fact that I didn't eat a lot that day and all the physical activity that I did that would make me go low overnight. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in my bed with paramedics, 2 paramedics standing right here, my brother standing at the door, and an IV in my arm. I thought I was dreaming. I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm dreaming. Let me just go back to bed. And I do remember like going back to bed. Like I saw the 2 paramedics, they were talking. I heard some like talking. I didn't know what they were asking me. They were definitely asking me questions. And I remember going back to bed and then waking up later and then I'm like, oh my God, this is real. Like there are paramedics in my room right now. I had patches on my arm, my legs, can't even remember. I had these patches all over me that were used to check my blood pressure. And that's what they were really worried about because they said my blood pressure dropped to like an alarming rate. This is where I put the pieces together and I'm like, I don't remember the night from like 1:45 on because I had been low from 1:45 to this was like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So I had been low for almost 12 hours. He said that I was a 1.9, which is insane. Like that is extremely low. And especially if you were drinking, which already makes you like a little tired and your response time is obviously worse. And it wasn't that I was drunk or anything, but I was literally just in the worst possible scenario. I was tired, I was low, and I had been drinking. And I don't even remember going from my couch to my bed. And because the girl left, like my friend left, I don't even remember her leaving. My door was unlocked. I obviously just walked to my bed because I was so low and disoriented. When you're low, your brain literally stops working. That's why you don't take tests when you're low because you can't think properly, you can't make proper decisions. Probably walked over to my bed, fell asleep, didn't even lock the door, which thank God I didn't lock the door because my mom was randomly trying, like my mom and I don't talk like every morning. This random morning she called me and I didn't answer obviously because I was in my bed unconscious from being low. This is like so triggering to talk about because it just makes me so mad that I even let this happen. She called my brother and was like, maybe you should go check on her, like drive to Waterloo and just check on her. My brother comes to my door and he just walks in. He was like, hey Sadie, like are you okay? And at this point I was kind of just disoriented. I wasn't conscious, but I could still make sounds and realize that he was talking to me. He said, can you call mom back because she's worried about you? I was like, yeah. Like I kind of just like shooed him away. And he thought that I just did that because I was tired because like obviously he doesn't know everything that happened. And then I obviously didn't end up calling her back. And so he leaves because he thinks I'm just tired and I'm just like, hey, go away. Like I literally shooed him off. Thanks a lot, Sadie. That was so helpful. My brother called my mom and he's like, yeah, she's just tired. She's still in bed. By the way, this blush is so pretty. Look how pretty that is. It's the RMS. It has little sparkles in it. So it's just so like glowy. Makes you look like a little fairy. And I love it. Off track. So then my mom just kind of found that suspicious because I literally had 20 missed calls from my mom. And my mom's like, okay, go check on her again. My brother comes back into my room. He tries to wake me up. I'm not waking up. I am not responding. He immediately calls 911 and apparently there was also a fire or something down the road. So every time he would hear sirens, he would think that the paramedics coming for me, but it actually wasn't. It was for like the fire down the street. That must have been so traumatizing. Like I would be traumatized if I was in that scenario. That's why I also just feel so bad for him. So the paramedics finally arrived to my building, and my brother had to go let them up because he didn't know what the buzzer code was to give the paramedics so they could be buzzed up. And the paramedics were like, make sure she doesn't lie on her back, because then if she throws up or anything like that, then she could choke on it. And so my brother goes door to door knocking on the other units in my hallway to see if anyone can come in and make sure that I don't roll over in my sleep. No one was answering. So he basically just stacked pillows and like shoved pillows and things on my back so I wouldn't roll over. And he went down and let the paramedics up, and they immediately checked my blood sugar, and they attached me to an IV, which was delivering basically like sugar water into my bloodstream, which is what they were calling it. And apparently I was attached to that for like 10 minutes, and what they were really concerned about was my blood pressure. Not only my blood sugar, but my blood pressure too, because my body was basically slowing down at this point. It was trying to account for the fact that my blood sugar was so low and my brain capacity was going down. My body was slowing down to just basically stay alive, which was insane because I was low for such a long amount of time. The paramedics literally told me to my face, that's insane that you are still alive and that your body kept you alive for that long when you were that low. It did feel like a second chance and a wake-up call that had to happen, and that was like meant to happen for me in this moment, especially when I'm living in university by myself. I woke up feeling so disoriented. I was nauseous, I was dizzy, and this was not because of the alcohol. Like, let me tell you again, I have felt worse from alcohol before, and I have drank more than I drank that night before and woken up feeling fine. I really want to push that home that it was not about the alcohol, it was about my blood sugars. Then they basically said this, my heart dropped when they said this. Like, I thought they were gonna kind of just like put sugar into me and then kind of leave when I was fine and when I was back up again. But then they said, oh, we're gonna have to like hospitalize, like we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. And I was like, what? Like, why are we going to the hospital? Like, I'm going back up. Like, at this point I was like a 3 point something. It's because I'm predicted to go low, so they keep suspending my insulin. They basically tried to make me eat something. They could only find a piece of chia bread because I needed complex carbs, like things that were going to sustain my blood sugars and keep me up for the rest of the day. The paramedics were amazing though. Like, I didn't feel like I was being judged. Like, even though I knew this was like all my fault, I didn't feel like they were judging me or making me feel bad about it. And they were so smart. Like, they really were educated on diabetes and what I needed to get better in that moment. Like, they were so good. I'm so thankful to those two paramedics. They were amazing. They were trying to get me to stand up. They're trying to get me to like sit up on my bed. I had to swing my feet over the bed and literally sit like that for a good 10 minutes before I could even think about getting up. They gave me like a hurl bag. They were like, if you need to throw up, because once you've been that low for that long, you just feel like your body is like shutting down and your brain is so slow and everything's dizzy. The room was spinning. I have never felt like that before. It was kind of like very scary. And then I was like, okay, yeah, honestly, maybe I should go to the hospital. I walked to the door of my apartment and they have a gurney all set up for me, so I was like, sick. They put me in the gurney, they strapped me in. It was just such a surreal feeling. Like, I was like, I really am that girl that is getting gurneyed out of her apartment into an ambulance to go to the hospital. I was like in shock basically the whole time. They're still monitoring my blood pressure really closely, which is mainly what they were worried about now since my blood sugar was back to normal. And he was basically telling me the severity of the situation. Like, he basically told me, it is so crazy that you are alive right now. I was just like sitting like this staring at the door to the ambulance. Like, I was literally just like, and then I would answer his questions. I had no desire to be like smiley or energetic. Like, I just had no energy. We finally got to the hospital. They gave me some jello to eat, but they didn't have very many gluten-free options at the hospital. So I was literally just like eating jello and juice to sustain my blood sugars. Then my mom and my dad visited me at the hospital. I could only have one visitor in the room though. So my mom was the only visitor that I could have. I feel so bad for them. Like, it actually hurts my heart to think about how they were like far away from me and they couldn't reach me and they just had no idea what was going on. Knowing that like your daughter had to get woken up by the paramedics and basically saved by the paramedics in a completely different city, and now she's in the hospital and she can only have one visitor. Like, I just feel so bad for them. I really wanted to take video clips to remember this moment and to be able to show you guys the state that I was in, remember what the room looked like, and remember the feeling that I had, just to like remind myself this actually happened, don't let it happen again. And to also maybe inspire you guys to take better care of your blood sugars and not make the mistakes that I made.
This is your sign.
to take care of yourself. Because right now I'm at the hospital.
Oh, I can take it off?
Yeah.
What is that?
But this is definitely a wake-up call for me. Stop putting socializing over your health. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, I just feel so stupid right now. Because if I saw my friend do this, I'd be like, what are you doing?
You're not hiding it from
Other
your mother
people.
or the doctor or anything. It's only you.
Yeah, it's just me. Oh my god, and I'm wearing Morgan's hoodie. Love your planet, love your mom. That's what it says on the back. I think I have a video of me eating a gluten-free sub that my dad actually went and got me outside of the hospital. That looks so good. I got my nails done.
Whoop-de-doo. Remember how to do this?
Yeah, I have to like prime it.
This is good because it's kind of hidden. Like we see you taking it, but you don't really see you taking it.
I don't have to hold it. Oh, I forgot. Okay, thank you. Gluten-free, what is it, turkey sandwich? Thank you. Oh my god, that's actually, do you want to try it? That's actually good. There's like vegetables in it.
Yeah, it's vegetables.
I'm giving someone a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. I'm dehospitalizing myself. Oh my god, ow, free wax. Bro. Oi, I'm keeping that on though. I might sound like I'm like joking about this, but I know it's a very serious topic, but it just helps me cope with it. My mom and I had to wait like around 2 hours, or was it like an hour, to see a doctor and for the doctor to come to me. So then after that, I got released from the hospital and they drove me to like my parents' house, like to my home. We had like a ton of conversations and I basically apologized to them and I told them like, this is going to kick me into gear. I'm going to take better care of my blood sugars and I need to have more strict rules with myself with eating and groceries, and especially when I go out and when I'm drinking, like I need strict rules. My mom used to always tell me, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, and I would always just like brush that off, be like, okay, you're just trying to make me eat broccoli. But now I truly get it, because if you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. Like, you're so debilitated. Like, that's how I felt, like debilitated, and I felt like a burden. And in terms of making sure that I don't literally give my family a heart attack, that also inspired me. A huge wake-up call is what I would describe this, which is what near-death experiences usually do to you. And I decided that day that I was going to go back on the pump. Maybe for the time being, maybe it's temporary, maybe it's permanent, I don't know. I am now on the T-Slim pump. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't love wearing it. Like, my least favorite thing about the pump is just deciding where to clip it on my pants or put it in my pocket. And when you're changing, you almost like rip the site out. The sites that I'm using right now are the metal cannula ones, and they have like 2 patches. So it's like one with the actual needle connects to a second patch, which connects to the pump. You have to change the site every 2 to 3 days and change the cartridge, which takes a long time, every like 3 to 4 days. And I'm also wearing a Dexcom sensor, so I have like 3 patches on my stomach or on my arm, and it's just a lot of stuff to remember now. But there's also the pros, which is controlling the insulin, to be able to suspend your insulin overnight, do a temp basal, and just have more control over your insulin intake. And now I don't have to carry a bag with me with my insulin pens to the bar and to anywhere where I go out. Like, I literally have my insulin always with me, and that's amazing. So I am so thankful for that. Keep in mind, this is like the 2nd month that I'm in university. There's also been a lot of stress in my life regarding my car getting stolen, my phone, and my ID getting stolen. I just want to say, if there's anything that you take from this video, is your health is the most important thing ever in your life, like over everything. But if you have any questions, or if you have any more diabetes themed content that you want to make, I really am inspired to make that right now. But I'm just so thankful for my family and my brother for coming up and helping me and literally saving my life. Just how much love that I received that day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.